Hello, I am Annie, and these are my musings. So today's video is about how to deal with anxiety and depression when none of the typical advice works for you. So before I get started with this video, I just want to give a disclaimer. This is only based on my own experience. I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I'm not trying to, give medical advice in any way, shape, or form. This is just advice based on my own experiences and what I found works for me, and some things might work for you, some might not. It really depends on the person, so definitely don't, take my advice with grains of salt, and either it works for you or it doesn't, and just try to find what does work for you. That's the main sort of takeaway from this video. So, the first piece of advice that I have for people is to do things even while you're nervous. My logic behind this is that you're going to be nervous anyway, so you might as well be nervous while doing something than be nervous while doing nothing. So, for example, I get nervous when I drive. I still want to drive, I get nervous going to a concert, even though I love concerts, and I still want to go, I still want to have that experience. So it's much better to experience life and to do things even if you are nervous about them than it is to not do things because of your anxiety. And it can be a lot easier said than done. But, once you get to the place of like, well, I'm gonna be nervous anyway, I might as well just do the thing that I'm nervous about anyway and see how it goes. That's a much healthier place, I think, than being in the place of, well, I'm so nervous, so I won't do anything, and I will just stay home and not do anything ever. That's not really healthy, and it's not healthy to, go past your boundaries either, but if you can push yourself a bit, and if you can do things even while you are nervous, that's a good step to take, I think. My second piece of advice is don't identify with your pain too much. You aren't your pain. You are a human being. You are so many things and have so much to offer, even if you don't believe you do. So this is one I would have had a lot of trouble with when I was younger. I was just like, well, I am, in so much pain. Like, how can I not identify with it? But I think to a certain extent, the more you identify with it, the less you're actually gonna work on it. So, if you're thinking I am depressed, I am anxious, I am all these things, not that you shouldn't be aware of your issues, you should. You absolutely should. And you shouldn't ignore your pain either, which I'm gonna get up to in the next point. But you shouldn't think that your pain and the things that are difficult for you solely define you either, because they don't. What defines you is who you are and what you do. And, you know, if you're a good, kind person, then you're a good, kind person. You have a lot to offer the world. And you need to realize that. You need to realize that you have a lot to offer and that things will get better. It might just take a while. As the 13th Doctor said, darkness never sustains, even though sometimes it feels like it might. My next piece of advice is don't ignore your pain either. Trying to eradicate your anxiety and depression will not work right away. It's a gradual process. As time goes on, they might improve, but ignoring them will not make them go away. Instead, acknowledge your feelings, but realize that they don't solely define you. So, you know, a good way to do this is to, like, if you can, keep a journal. Like, write out everything that you're feeling and get it out of your head. And then once you do that, you're like, you'll feel a little bit better because you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't even realize I was feeling half of that, you know? But like I said, don't identify with it too much, but also don't ignore it. Just, you know, realize that your feelings are your feelings and you're allowed to feel however you feel, but that they don't solely define you. Not at all. What defines you is your actions. And, you know, if you're treating other people with respect and you're trying to love yourself and you're, you know, working on things, that's all you can do. That's all you need to do. My final piece of advice is not even on here, but I would say, you know, if you're watching this channel and you resonate with me in any way, I know that for a long time I would feel like, you know, I can't talk about how I'm feeling, or I can't say this, or I can't say that, because people are gonna not understand, or they're gonna think I'm weird, or strange, or whatever. And to that I say, maybe, but who cares? You need to sort of get to that level of, like, not putting so much stock into other people's opinions, because they're gonna have their opinions whether you say things or not, for the most part. Like, you know, everyone has their opinion and everyone is entitled to have their opinion, but their opinion is only evidence of their views, not who you are. So even if someone does think you're weird for, like, having anxiety or having depression or whatever, like, that doesn't mean they're right. That just means that they have their own views and they have their own way of looking at the world that doesn't really, that you kind of, like, having those issues sort of messes with their worldview, but that's not your fault. And it's up to them, really, to, you know, expand their worldview and to realize that, you know, everyone's different. Everyone has a different life experience, and that that's okay. So, don't deal with your problems alone, but if you know, open up to someone and they do think you're weird or whatever, just realize that that doesn't mean they're right. And even if you are weird, weird is not the worst thing to be. I think the worst thing to be is like to be mean or, hurtful or harmful. And as long as you're not doing that, who cares? Who cares, really? So yeah. That's my advice for this video. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!